to the April Historic District Board of Review meeting. Glad to see everyone in the audience. We've got a big crowd. Just a joke. Okay. All right. So we'll start off with a review and approval of our February and let's see, we got to do our February minutes.
All right, we need to attend it first.
We do attendance first. Gosh dang it. All right. Let's do attendance first.
All right. Carol Lynn Rogers.
Here.
Sandy Palmer.
Here.
Mike Pittman.
Here.
Glenn McCall.
Here.
Thomas Stark.
Here.
Jerome Vernon. And Josh Wilbur.
Here. All right. Now we can do our minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we did not have enough. We didn't have enough of the people that were in the February meeting here to vote last month on February minutes. So did everyone have a chance to review those? And I think in this one we can actually take a vote with those that were present in the February meeting. So any changes, amendments to the February minutes? Okay, hearing none, I'll accept the motion to approve.
I move we approve the February minutes.
Second.
Josh Wilbur.
Approve.
Thomas Stark.
Approve.
Glenn McCall.
Approve.
And Mike Pittman.
Approve.
All right, and then we have our March minutes. Any changes, amendments, edits? All right, hearing none, I'll accept the motion.
Move to approve the March minutes.
Second.
Mike Pittman.
Approve.
Glenn McCall.
Approve.
Thomas Stark.
Approve.
And Josh Wilbur.
Approved. So some of you may notice there are two members up here you've not seen in the past. So we have two new members on our board who I'll let introduce themselves. So Carol, would you like to go first?
Oh.
You're here. Sorry. Golly. It's the Carol and Sandy. I got them mixed up. Of course.
We look alike.
Yes.
I'm Carol Ann Rogers, live at 934 West Main, and we have lived here for about 16 years. I am an Air Force wife. My husband was in the military and retired, and we moved up here. My husband said he came up here because of the golf. We were coming from South Carolina, but that was a lie. We moved up here because my son had all the grandchildren, and we have restored 2 or 3 historic homes in South Carolina, and also the one that we live in now. And we just had an interest in the historical aspects of this town, and we're so very proud of living here. We really enjoy it because of the foresight that the people had many years ago to establish this board and to keep it historic. And so I'm looking forward to serving you.
Thank you. Sandy?
Sandy Palmer. My husband and I have lived in Jefferson County. We started Madison Vineyards Winery and Bed and Breakfast about 26 years ago. Sold it last year. Moved downtown and then bought another house downtown. And we bought a house that hopefully has been renovated and is in pretty good shape because we're too old to renovate. But we enjoy and have always valued the historic part. That was the tourism and just the spirit of the place was always helpful to our business on the hilltop, and we love it now being able to walk anywhere we want downtown. So we're very happy to spend the rest of our lives there, we hope.
Well, we're glad to have both of you on the board. I look forward to working with you, and, at least once a month, if not more. So with that, we'll go ahead and get into the applications. So just for those that are not familiar with the process, I will call the application by the address, and then a member who is representing that application would come up to the podium. You'll state your name and your address. So not necessarily the address of the application, whatever your home address is. And at that point in time, I'll have Brooke read about the application. She'll do a summary of it. Once she is done with the summary, I'll ask the applicant if they have anything to add to that for the board to hear and for the audience to hear. At that point, the board will then ask any questions that they have about the application. And then we'll ask the audience if there's any issues or concerns or questions they may have. And then we will go into what's called findings of fact. We will then take what we learned from the findings of fact and then do a vote on it. If it is approved, you'll get a certificate of appropriateness in the mail, and then of course, if it's approved and you have all your building permits, you'll be able to start work immediately after the approval. So, hopefully it's not too difficult a process. We try to make it as simple as we can. So, with the first application, it's 312 West 3rd Street.
Yeah. Just a minute, but hello.
Hi.
Yeah, my name is Daniel Orellana. I'm representing the 312 First Street. I'm the general contractor in there, so she have a little bit hearing problem, so I think we're gonna step over her.
Okay, that's no problem. Do we need his address, I assume, though?
Yes.
Okay, we'll need your address, though.
Oh, my address is 1045 Rebecca Court in Seymour, Indiana.
Okay, thank you. Okay, perfect.
So this home at 312 West 3rd Street is owned by Sarah Gray. It is an 1837 federal/Italian contributing zoned historic district residential. The COA request is to replace 3 existing windows with vinyl windows, build a new porch on the existing addition, install 1 new vinyl window on existing addition, install new 6-inch stainless steel chimney pipe, add 1 new entrance on patio side, and install fiber cement lap siding on the garage facade. You can see, I pulled the copy of the 1927 Sanborn map, indeed showing that rear addition has been put on since. And then photos of the area with the proposed door and window. And that is all I have.
It's a pretty home.
It is very
It's
pretty
a
home.
pretty home.
I'm
It's
so
one-
proud to working on that one.
Yeah.
In the backside.
Yeah, it's got a nice, you know, you don't get to see all these backyards and stuff, that's really, that's amazing.
It's been done pretty good work in there around. So during the year they've been working on renovating around. So the house is done, the main house.
Yeah.
This is just the left to do on the back side of the room. So that's what we're working on.
So the windows that you're wanting to replace with vinyl, where are they located?
It's just
Those
because
3?
yeah, those windows in there, they are pretty rotten inside. When they install and they do that addition, they kind of do it poorly on it. So all the water is being going through that. So we are having water damage in that. That's when we're gonna do all the siding. We're just gonna put the backing boards before the siding, and we're gonna frame that around. So when we take the windows off and we put the new ones on, it's all gonna be tied out. So.
Okay. And what kind of windows, what material are they?
We're trying to use the Pella 250 series.
Well, I mean, what type of material are they now?
There's that wood. It's
They are
like,
wood?
but they are not like it's kind of part wood and part aluminum on it, so they're not
Okay.
well done. So it's inside have that like a plastic, like the
Okay.
glass on it. But that's just the inside part, so it's not pretty good windows.
So as I look at it, the 3 windows on this side will be the one next to the door, which will be the one you're adding, and then the 2 right behind the air conditioners. Is that correct?
Yes. Can I go
So the
close
one-
to the
Yes.
Yeah,
just
come on up.
explain a little better? Yeah. So this one here is where this window is gonna be added, and this is gonna be a door access on it. So
Okay.
these windows in here are gonna replace them. We're not trying to put all the same on.
So you're okay. So you're going to replace all 3 of those windows. I got you now. Okay.
And so the windows will have the same, looks like 6/6.
Yes.
And will the buttons on those windows, will they be exterior to the window? Or
Well,
they're be
those
inside the
gonna
face?
be, we're gonna do the casing windows. They're gonna open, they're gonna swing this way. It's kind of like the windows you have in here,
Okay.
but it's gonna be 6 on 6, the
Okay. But
pattern. So
those, the viters,
yes.
the buttons, will they be exterior to the window? Will they be on the
Yes.
outside?
So the buttons are
Yes, they're
okay.
gonna be it's gonna be the same pattern on it.
But not double hung.
No, there will be case windows. Those are like sliding windows, so you're sliding to open. And this one's gonna be gonna open this way. They're gonna swing. What we call it the casing windows. It's kind of same style, but
Okay.
And will the buttons then be in between 2 panels that are glass on the outside, or are they actually true divided?
gonna be in between. We're gonna have double glass windows on. We're gonna have a argon gas inside, so those gonna be incised in between the windows, in between the glass. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are those even visible from the street?
Those no.
I was gonna say, I don't think those are even visible from the street. I've never, we have 3 lovely air conditioners. I don't think, I really don't, I've never seen that. So, and I've lived there since 1996, so I don't think that's really in our purview.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, you
That's
can't
what I
see it from the
said.
street, yeah.
So they're not putting one on the.
So,
What-
yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good question.
what's
So
our
are you also
reservation?
adding one on the alley side? a
Yes,
window?
one on the outside gonna be matching the. For the purpose, we're gonna habilitate that room for be part of the living area in the house. So because right now it's practically just a warehouse that we are moving all that. So when we add that window on the other side, it's gonna be appropriate for the living area in there. So
Yeah, Brooke, should we even be considering these windows or not?
So in the fall and winter, when there's no foliage on the trees and things, you can, if you stand at a certain angle in the
The
alley.
street or the alley?
The
'Cause
alley.
Okay, the alley makes more sense.
You can see that, a little. I mean, it's not, you have to be intentional to look, but it is within view.
I think you almost have to be on the property. I mean, I walk that alley with my guard dog every day, and I just don't think it's visible. Very difficult.
So the window on the alley, are you also planning to do a casement window in that one that opens up that way?
yes.
Okay. And, it's also gonna be the vinyl, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Another question I have, about the, chimney. Where exactly does that come up on the roof?
So it won't be too high. It won't be a brick chimney. So we're gonna do the insulated stainless steel chimney on it.
Yeah,
So gonna be in the other side. We're gonna be in the other side, kind of in the middle of that building,
okay.
in the back room. So
It's gonna be on that new addition.
yeah, well that's old edition. We don't
Yeah.
have the newest.
You don't by chance have a sample or something that we can physically see?
For the chimney?
Of the window?
Yeah, we have, the window
Yeah.
I don't have it with me right now. We can submit it like you require, if you need it.
Yeah.
I guess my question on the casement window, if it cranks out, how far out in the alley will that go?
Yeah, they can crack all the way, but they have like a 3 station. You can just open it like a quarter, halfway, and then just full opening, yeah.
It won't interfere with any traffic going through that alley?
No, won't be opening that way. Even we have like, in that alley, we have like close to 24 inches in between. There is a
Okay.
electric pole in there, so it's far away from that too. So the pole is closer than the street than the window will be, so.
Okay.
So, windows come up almost every meeting, and, we really do try to work, with the residents in Madison. But one thing that we really need to see is what the window's going to look like.
Yes.
To see, what the muttons look like. Do they have the bulk that represents what the original window would have looked like? And I
Yeah.
know that this is just, a modern addition, but this is a significant house,
Yes.
and we wanna make sure that those windows blend in with the existing windows that are on the house.
Definitely, we understand that, and when we was trying to work on that, we're gonna try to match that style. I know you probably wanna see the dimension. We call it the brick mold. That's on those windows. So when we pump the new siding on it, so it's gonna be matching with that window. So it's gonna be like a trim around that window. We're gonna try to match the existing windows on it. So we also gonna put a sill plate in that window to match when we put the trim around.
Okay.
So it's gonna be mounted in that. So you see, sorry, I explained myself a little better this way. So you see this way, these windows in here, they put it all kind of close to that. So when they adapted this window, it's inside to this casing in here.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do, the main house, have the correct windows on it. So the windows are with the trim on top of the wall. So that's what we're gonna do when we put the siding on it. Those windows gonna mount it on with trim around. So we call them brick molding for those windows. So
Yeah.
it's kinda, won't be like a rosetta like this, will be more flush in the wall with the siding on it. So, gonna match more the house, the main house, than this addition here.
Any other questions from the board?
So what, the addition, the newer, I mean,
Yeah.
the addition is cinder block, right?
Yes.
So it now does not, no one would guess that that was original, right?
Yeah.
So, and you're going to put, like hardy board siding on it.
Yes.
So again, it will not be, no one is gonna look at that and think it was built at the same time
Yeah,
as the
exactly.
rest of the house.
Yeah, you can see the main house, from the street or
Yeah,
very corner.
so it seems to me, I don't think we should get too tied up in trying to make sure the windows look exactly like the windows in the old part of the house, because,
We don't try to restore the addition on it because it won't match the building or anything. We're just trying to make it look appropriate, matching the
Right.
house on it with.
right, I guess my point is, the main reason that I think in the guidelines, it does say vinyl is not appropriate.
Yeah.
But I think the reason that they say that is because typically vinyl windows are like the low-cost option. And they tend to sag and don't wear well. But now these are Pellas that you're talking
Yes.
about, which is a very good brand.
Yes, it's kind of between. There's better brands on it, but for the kind of work we're gonna do in there and time-wise too. For example, Anderson, they have a better quality and a little more high-end, but they are taking like 100 days just to deliver the windows on it. So
Yeah, I
it's,
think you brought some Anderson vinyl windows in once.
Vinyl clad.
Vinyl clad, I mean, they say windows, yeah. Those are kind of impressive now, that's not the same brand, but it just goes to show that just because vinyl is in the name,
yeah.
doesn't mean that it's something junky necessarily.
Yeah, exactly. They are pretty, Pella is pretty good windows, and I've been working on them, so I restore houses too, so, of course, we prefer wood and just trying to match something with the windows, but in this case, those vinyl windows, we're gonna do a good framing on it, we're gonna install all appropriate on it, so, I don't think will be any problem. Siding.
These are not vinyl clad wood, these are 100% vinyl.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think Owen makes some great points, but we've discussed this over and over without actually seeing what the window looks like. It makes it very difficult. I agree with him that there are a lot of products out there that we now have to consider and should consider. But again, we don't have anything to look at.
Yeah.
All right, any questions, concerns, comments from the audience? Come up and state your name and address.
Why? Ken McWilliams, 315 Poplar. And especially for the new members, we all need to up our game on windows. We talk about windows every month, like they said. Lowe's has Pella 250 windows on display every day. You just have to get out and take a look at the windows that are for sale at Bender and Lowe's, because that's most of the windows you're going to get mentioned in this group. So they're there for you to see. And so Pella 250s, oddly enough, is what I chose for my daughter's house. And they're outstanding windows. Casements are $400 to $600 each. These are not $70 and $113 vinyl windows.
Any other questions, concerns from the audience, comments? All right, well, hearing none, we will go to our findings of fact. Tom, you're the lucky one. Get to start us
Thank
off.
Okay, we'll start with chimneys. On page 38, chimneys contribute to buildings, a building's architecture and should be maintained and preserved. New chimneys are not really addressed in the guidelines, so we feel that because this is a chimney and it's in the back of the house, that it meets the requirements. It is a non-historic portion of the house and non-conforming materials, even though it doesn't meet that one. Again, it's at the back of the house, so I think we're okay there. Doors and entrances. Doors are not addressed and that's on pages 39 and 40. Doorways are not addressed, or at least new doorways, in the guidelines. And it is in conformance as it will be located in the rear of the modern addition and will face the western facade and will not and will be of either wood, fiberglass, or steel, and complementary to the architecture of the home. Siding. Exterior siding such as weatherboard, clapboard, shingles, or board and batten are defining characteristics of the structure's architectural character. And I think that the siding will make a great improvement on the cinder block. So I feel that it meets the requirements in the application. And let's see, then we've got windows, pages 60. And I think there were some good points made tonight. I would like to reinforce the fact that we need to see a sample of the type of window that you plan to put in. It's very difficult for us to determine what that will look like. But windows are prominent building components. They should be retained and maintained. That's original windows. Windows should not be added on the primary facade, and the installation of vinyl windows is not appropriate on any facade of the home that is visible from public view. So while the back two or back three you probably can't see, I think we determined that would not be a problem. The one on the alley, and our alleys are very important, you will be able to see. So I feel that that one is the only component that does not meet the requirements.
All right, for Sandy and Carol, just so you know, we have one person that talks about the findings of fact. They go through the findings of fact. You can either agree or disagree, and simply just by signifying that I agree with Tom or I disagree with Tom on this point or that point. But you don't have to go through the findings of fact the same way. All right. So Sandy.
Well, I agree on the chimneys, although since there's really no guidelines and it's in the back of the house, it seems like the material would be nice to be brick to blend in, but I agree with your findings on it. The only question would be the appropriateness of the material. The doors and entrances, I agree with his findings, because again, it was wooden doors or steel replacement. The siding, I agree. On the windows, the one that is the full view of the alley would be my major concern, because I think the alleys are throughway as important as the streets. And the casement, I think the vinyl, Pella windows are a good window. But these are totally vinyl, and being a 6-pane casement window just doesn't seem like it blends in with the house. I think that would be my question.
Owen.
I guess I agree with everything said, and again, the only sticking point would be the window. I guess in my mind, since these are not cheap vinyl windows, and since it is on a portion of the building that is obviously not original, every other material is different from the original house, so I don't feel like we need to try to match the windows in the older part of the house. So the fact that they're casement instead of double hung does not bother me at all. And since only the one is visible, really well visible from a right of way, and that right of way is just an alley, it's not really a main street, I guess I would rather you had brought one with you, but I think you made a good point. Maybe I should just go up to Bender and just look at those for next time. But I guess I'm willing to give you a pass on that one tonight because of those considerations.
Before we go to Michael, so the casement windows, Sandy made a point. So they're actually going to have 12.
Yes.
Because it's not going to be,
It won't
6
be
or 6.
two
It's going to
fans,
add them
yeah.
together, so you're going to have 12.
Exactly.
You actually have 12.
Yeah, so that's one.
Okay.
Totally doesn't. And
In
my
front of the
brother-
house. Okay. Gotcha. Mike?
I agree with you. Don't faint. No, I think that Sarah has been a blessing to our neighborhood. Her house looks absolutely wonderful. I live across the street from Sarah, although we didn't talk about her project. She is a wonderful English style to her decorating, which you know very well, and she's added a lot to the neighborhood. I'm sure any of those things that she's doing up there, she must be a great craftsman if she would be doing it. So appreciate the effort and the time she puts into place. She's got two great dogs. I'm not going to shorten that.
Yell. You have to speak up.
I'm as deaf as a post, so I'm not wild.
Well, I'll tell you at cocktail hour, okay?
I'll tell you
We'll talk to
cocktail
you
hour.
on it.
Carol,
I agree, but I have a question, and because
can
I'm
you put
new.
your microphone down and then just press the bottom part?
Am I not loud enough?
There you go. No, this way it gets on record too, because we have.
Okay, I agree, except that I'm asking the board because I haven't read every single regulation yet. When you say the one that's on the alley, if you don't, you think that isn't in compliance, what are you suggesting that they put there?
Well, it's not for us to suggest what they put there, if that's what they're asking for.
What they're asking for, though?
Yes, and that's why,
Okay.
and that's what we have to consider.
And he would come back with something? Would he come back with a
If we didn't,
window and show you?
if we didn't approve their application, then they might come back with something. But at this point in time, what we have to consider is what they actually are applying for, which are vinyl windows, in the case of windows, so,
I agree with the fellow on the end.
okay. All right.
Thank you.
No problem. And I agree with Owen, for kind of the same reasons. I think it is one window on that side, and, you know, we have approved vinyl windows in the past. More windows than that can be seen from street views or even alley views. And so, as much as, you know, it's controversial, sometimes with, you know, what's been approved in the past, you can go down and you can see some of these. And the main thing for me personally is the architectural look of it. So with that, entertain a motion.
Based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that the Madison Historic District Board of Review grant of a certificate of appropriateness to Sarah Gray for the proposed chimney, door additions, siding, and vinyl windows located at 312 West 3rd Street.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
So, for the members, new members, if you approve, you are obviously approving his motion. If you do not approve, that means you are not approving the motion, okay? Just wanna, you know, be clear with that. Okay, so
May not be the time for a question, but we had on here, there was a porch, did we cover that in the doors and entrances? Or have we not discussed the porch there, the porch over the back?
Sorry,
back
what was your
door?
question?
I thought in the application there is a section on porch.
Yes.
The covering, which we
Which
didn't
on the
address.
existing, I didn't see that on the,
It's not on the worksheet.
it wasn't on the worksheet, that's why I missed it too.
You've already done a motion.
Yeah, we're requesting the
We
board.
do have a motion, but
Sorry, I should have said it earlier.
no,
I can withdraw my motion if
It's
we
up to
need-
you.
Yeah, okay.
it's up to you to do that.
Did we miss a porch? Do we need to discuss that?
It looks like we
Do
did.
you
And
have
project
any
areas.
dimensions of the porch or a picture of the
Hold on,
porch?
hold on a second, Tom, before you go there, Tom,
Uh-huh,
he's got to withdraw the motion before you go there.
okay.
Yeah, so I withdraw my motion.
Anything else needed for that?
I withdraw my second.
Okay. Okay. So at this point,
And they're doing that.
Sorry to ask.
there was a porch that you were building on this? Okay, would you, like to talk us through that?
Yeah, the reason we're trying to put a porch in there, we have a lot of water coming because the center blocks and there was some damage in the bottom and they raised the shovel in the back, so all the water is coming inside the room. So we have to do some work around in the perimeter just to seal tight the water for inside, right? But in that back side where the main door was for that room, there's no soffit or any area for roofing protection for that door. So besides putting an awning to won't do too much, so we decided just doing a porch to protect more the area, so making a little more livable on it for snow, water, and everything. So we're just gonna, all that gonna be working around, and that porch, we're gonna try to use match the porch that's in the,
And that porch will be then on the north side of the,
yes, in the very back of the house.
yeah.
It is more for protection than, it's gonna look good, yeah, but.
And you're using the fiber cement lap siding,
For the wall, but in the
the outside,
main
the
porch,
exterior,
yeah,
of the
and
porch.
yeah, and the porch we're just gonna cover the columns with the we're gonna try to do some fiber cement around the poles too to protect them for weather and everything, and we're gonna try to match. It's gonna be a straight, won't be too much
Okay.
moldings on it.
Columns will be, fiberglass, or will they be wood?
There would be wood,
And then
we're
around
just
the
gonna
base.
wrap it around and
Gotcha.
cover it all up, dress it up with molding and.
Okay.
So should we have a findings of fact to deal with the board?
Let's go ahead. Tom, you wanna do the findings of fact on porches
Yeah.
with it, sorry, since you already did.
What page are we on?
15.
50? And what were the dimensions of that porch,
Will
width and
be
depth?
around 6 foot wide,
Okay.
from the walls to the outside, and the length gonna be 16 foot. It's gonna be wall to wall, so.
Oh, okay.
So.
Okay, page 50, in the residential guidelines for porches, in most cases, historic porches visible from the street should be retained and maintained. There wasn't one there, so that's a non-issue. Porches on the primary facade should not be enclosed. This is on the back of the house, that's not an issue. If the historic porch is missing, it is appropriate to replace it. Again, it's on the back of the house, not relevant. Porch details should be retained intact with repair work and replacement missing parts. Not there, this is a brand new porch. Original porches should not be removed. You're not removing anything, you're adding one. Wood porches should have wood steps, not brick or concrete steps. And as I remember from the alley, it's
just-
basically level, isn't it? And will there be a concrete pad there?
Well, it's concrete in the part in there, so what we're gonna try to do, because we have to drain the water from the patio, we're just gonna have to cut a trench in there, put the water under, so we're just gonna try to restore that concrete part in there to make it kind of level in there. So it
Okay.
won't be a steps or anything, so.
Yeah. So that's not an issue. And number 7, wood trellis for plants is appropriate. Wood lattice panels may be added to porch appears below the porch in accordance with the foundation guidelines. You're not planning on any trellises at this time. And I think that's it. So according to what you have said with the dimensions of the porch and the location of the porch, I don't think we have a problem.
Sandy,
Uh,
do you agree?
I agree, and I'm assuming that the same materials on the door
Yeah.
awning on the other side, the west side, which we don't really have
Exactly.
to concern with.
I agree for the same reasons.
Mike,
I agree with that one again.
I agree.
Carol, you agree? Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, I too agree. All right, so, would you like to?
Okay,
Sorry.
let me try that again.
No, we appreciate it. This is-
Okay, based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that the Madison Historic District Board of Review grant a certificate of appropriateness to Sarah Gray for the proposed stainless steel chimney, new entrance, siding, windows, vinyl windows, and porch on the alley located at 312 West 3rd Street.
Porch is not on the alley, that's the only thing we need to.
Oh, I'm sorry,
revise.
not on the alley, that's
North side.
on the side, porch on the side, yeah.
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Thomas Stark,
So I agree with everything, and if I could have seen a window, I would have probably approved it, but I'm not gonna be able to approve it.
Hold on, one second. She'll call you.
Oh,
Sorry.
Sandy Palmer?
I approve it, I agree with everything that's said. I am concerned about the case windows, but the fact that it's on the non-historic kind of part of that building, even though that is an incredibly important house, I approve it.
I approve. Oh, sorry.
You're better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You lost control, bro.
I know, apparently. Carol Ann?
I approve.
Mike Pittman?
I approve.
And Josh Wilbur?
You already got Owen. You want to say Owen?
Owen?
Yeah, I agree.
And Josh.
Okay. I agree. So therefore, you will get a strict certificate of appropriateness in the mail. You can begin work as soon as you have all the proper building permits if you need those.
All right, thank you
Thank you
very
very
much. All
much.
of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
All right, our next application is 310 Broadway.
Thank you very much.
It is you again. We're so happy to see you. If you would state your name and address for us.
Susie Hollinger, 310 Broadway, Larry Childers Business Contract.
Larry, you want to go ahead and state your name and address since you're up here?
Larry Childers, 192 South Main Cross, Honolulu, Indiana.
Brooke?
Alright, so this, home owned by Suzanne Hollinger is a circa 1860, 19th century functional, contributing building, zoned historic district residential. The COA request is to remove one vinyl window on the east wall above the garage and replace with a fiberglass or steel door. Build a deck above the garage within the boundaries of the existing garage roof with posts made of black iron or steel. And we have a proposed drawing of what the new deck would look like. Plan showing a bird's eye view of that. And an image of the existing back of the building at this point. And that is all I have.
Would you like to add anything?
Well, as you can tell by the building, there's very little outdoor space, just a tiny little piece of landscaping on the north side. So we're trying to present some kind of an outdoor living space. So since we're finishing the upstairs apartment, we have planned a stairway from the inside apartment that will go out onto this proposed deck. But there is just an old vinyl window there, and we're just asking to remove that old vinyl window and replace it with a doorway so that we can add a deck on at a later time.
Which window, actually is it?
It's like,
Is it the one in the middle?
No.
No, it's all the way to the north side.
It's
Air
like
conditioning
this.
units.
Oh, okay.
Air conditioners.
So then you're planning on moving the AC units? Or-
Yes, they're gonna be moved over. They've
Okay.
already been- Actually, they have already been moved over.
I'm sorry?
Well, the AC units have already been moved.
Oh, okay.
where were they moved?
They just spread them apart.
Okay, so they just got moved to the sides so
Yes.
that you can put this thing in. Okay.
And I think, they said that the post would be steel or iron. Actually, that would be the spindles, the vertical spindles. We're wanting to do the post out of reclaimed, or age-appropriate, wood, similar to what we have in the front with the hitching post and what we have on the side of the posts that protect, the corner of the garage. So the posts on the porch would resemble those, but instead of the poles going horizontal, they would be going vertical. And they would be out of iron. And the post would be out of old wood posts
Well, there'd
and
be
with
wood.
metal caps.
What did you guys decide? Are you planning on doing wood for the decking or Trex type
Well,
of material?
I was gonna ask your permission as to what we're allowed to do. If we could do something that, doesn't require maintenance, that's what we would prefer.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure what the guidelines were on that, so we'll let you kind of guide us as to what you prefer. It's a very large area, so if we didn't have to do a lot of maintenance to the base of it, that would be really helpful.
Trekking, wood is a lot easier to maintain.
Yes, I
over
wasn't sure what the real,
lifespan.
I wasn't sure what the real name for it
but-
was.
So, you got in your application, you're gonna make the posts of black, steel, and iron, but you wanna change that to wood.
Well, the posts that go,
Spindles.
the spindles.
Okay, spindle,
Perhaps
okay,
I
so.
worded it wrong.
It was kinda throwing me, I thought, wow.
Yeah,
So-
perhaps I worded it wrong. The posts
Okay.
we were wanting to do out of hand-hewn beams or some kind of old barn wood that resembles the other trim that's
So
on
all
the
the
building.
spindles in between.
Right,
They're gonna
it's,
be out of
yeah,
wood,
the rail.
okay,
Mhm.
and then your posts will be iron, there'll be some type of, black iron.
No, the spindles will be.
The spindles are iron, the posts we prefer they be out of wood.
Wood
Okay.
rail, wood structure, wood post, metal spindles.
Metal
Yes.
spindles.
Mhm.
Black iron,
They
is
would
that
be
what you
black
guys are
iron like
thinking?
the ones we
Or
use.
aluminum, or?
Hopefully iron, black
Okay.
iron is what I hope. Is that what we have on downstairs?
Yes. Depends on what's available to at the time. Because with the supply and demand of products right now, it's hard to say what's gonna be available.
But they will be metal.
The spindles will be metal,
Mhm.
okay. And how high is your, deck, your,
Well, it'd be 36 inches tall.
okay,
I'm sorry, could,
36 inches.
36 inches.
That's,
I believe that is
I think
the-
that's code.
that's
That's
set.
code.
So
36? Okay.
It looks from this picture like whatever you make the deck out of, it's not even gonna be visible unless you're, flying over an airplane.
You may see the top of the railing.
Yeah.
What were the dimensions again? I think I missed that part.
I think it's about 27 by 30.
27, so 30 would be
It's
north,
an
south.
Yeah, an architect drew them. It's been a while since I've seen them. It's 20 feet to here, but it's actually 27 feet. Our garage door angles, so we'll be following that angle. If we come out to here, it's 27.
Okay, and it comes all the way out to the edge of the building?
Actually, his drawing has it 40 feet. I hope I have enough money to make it that big when the time comes. The costs have gotten so crazy. But that's what the architect has drawn. It's like 20 by 40, or 20, actually 27 to be very big. And then this is kind of a drawing of the rail, and it's the wood post with iron spindles.
Okay.
so, can I ask a question? The way it's, the metal roof will still be under it, the post will get somehow through there, and there'll be space, the metal roof, and then the metal windows that are on the base of the garage are still intact on it.
Yeah, well, that's kind of a long story, where the alley, the way it's been paved is flooding the area where the windows are, so I can't repair those until the city gets the alley fixed. So, but the windows will stay there, and hopefully we will repair them, but we can't repair them until we get the alley fixed.
Brooke or Nicole, is there anything commercial code-wise that they would have to have a fire exit that would lead down from the patio rather than just being able to just only go inside?
I don't know the answer to that.
It's a good question.
Yes,
Because
it's a good
For
question.
commercial, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, all codes will be followed, because they'll need a building permit for the deck since it's on the roof. So the building inspector will review that.
But my question would be, where would you take that stairway if you have to do that?
I would assume it would be a ladder.
Could be that it's a ladder or some type of stairway of some nature to be able to get down from that.
There's all types of ladders now that are actually retractable, that can be up and down,
Yeah,
that can be used.
so just a thought, because I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure
that's a
there's a
good
code on
thought. I
that.
would prefer, well, I'm not trying to invite people to just go hang out up there by having a ladder there. So
No.
I'm not.
No, I'm sure you're not, but you know, you said you moved those air conditioning units, you know, they're gonna be kind of on the exterior of this deck, right? I mean,
Well,
kind
they
of
would be
the sides.
encased around it, so to be excluded.
Okay.
Josh,
Just be maybe-
from the commercial guidelines, it doesn't address a staircase.
No, but I'm wondering if there's a code though.
Well, there could be,
That's
yeah.
that's what I'm concerned with. I think there is. I think there's supposed to
If
be.
there is, we'll comply with it.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
Mhm.
Any other questions from the board? Any questions, concerns, comments from the audience? Look all up, kid. You have to state your name and address again, though.
Me?
No,
No.
Ken. Yes, so
Oh.
the audience knows.
Ken McWilliams, 315 Poplar. And so I understand you're trying to improve your guest experience.
And ours too,
Oh,
because we'll be living there as well.
Okay. So when you go out on that patio, you're looking at the Freeman's really beautiful carriage house. But then my spectacular beautiful house right behind it.
Okay.
Or not spectacular. But anyway,
Well,
It is,
the one
it is
that-
beautiful, I've seen
but
it.
The
then,
one that belongs to your mother-in-law, is that right?
no,
Which?
no, I'm on 315 Poplar. I'm in the red two-story brick, just
Well,
down
she's
the
gonna
alley.
remodel.
I love that house.
I love you.
The one where you added the garage.
Yes.
Okay.
And so when you're on your patio, so if you look to the east, it's nice. But if you look to the north, you're looking at the ass end of Madison Main Street rear ends. You got dumpsters, you got MetroNet trucks.
I know.
I just don't know how enticing that's gonna be to your guests
Mhm.
or you, so.
Well, I'm gonna put really cool furniture up there.
Well, no, the bad news for you, you put in a ladder, I'm coming up, so, that's it. I
Thank
just,
you, Ken.
I'm just trying to find a place to put a gas grill and some cool furniture, cause it's just kinda nice on a pretty night to have a place to go sit outside.
Just put your big screen TV on that side.
There you
It'll
go,
look it better.
there you go, yeah.
So, all right, with that, we'll go to findings of fact, and Owen, would you like to take us through the findings of fact on this? Well, I did skip, I'm giving her a reprieve tonight.
That's why you never want to.
See, I didn't know that, if you didn't tell me that.
Okay, so, new construction, like, decks from 64.
She's got it up there too, but,
Okay, so, that's doors there. We can do doors first, I guess. Okay, so, this door that you're talking about is, can you even see it from a public right of way?
You're gonna have to be almost out to Poplar Street to be able to see
Right,
it.
that's what I was thinking. So it's almost invisible, but, it's not a historic door. You want to take out a vinyl window, thank you, to put in a door. What is it gonna be made of? I forgot.
I want to be able to afford fiberglass.
Right, we have approved that in the past, that's approved material. And, so that fits, and it's not a historic entrance, right, so, changing window to a door is not a problem, I think, and, so we wanna talk about the deck too, though, right?
Yes.
So,
You wanna go to decks or windows?
you kind of
Oh,
addressed it.
sorry, yep, hold on. There you go.
okay, so, it says that, new decks, should be, or acceptable at the rear, that's exactly where you're putting it. And, it says it should be of a simple design with square, well, it's almost square, wood balusters, you're making it wood and iron, which is traditional material as well and consistent with the architecture of the rest of the house. And the whole style is consistent with the rest of the building, so I would say that that fits with the findings, with the guidelines. So, I think I've addressed everything, haven't I?
So, all right, Mike?
I agree with Owen for the same reason.
Karen?
I agree.
Tom?
I agree.
Sandy?
I agree.
And I too agree for the same reason. So with that, we'll accept the motion.
Based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that the Madison Historic District Board of Review grant a certificate of appropriateness to Suzanne Hollinger for the proposed new construction of a wood or Trex deck 27 by 40 feet wide in dimension, the removal of a non-historic window, thank you again, and the addition of a new steel or fiberglass door in the window opening. This property is located at 310 Broadway Street.
I do have a quick question if I'm allowed to ask one. If I can't afford to do the 40-foot all at one time, am I allowed to make it like half that size and then add on later? Or do I have to make it 40 feet in order to start it?
So my opinion on that would be is if you approve the 40 feet, our ordinance stipulates 1 year to start the
Correct.
project. So if she does half, and then does half at a later time, it still would conform to the COA.
As long as it's within the year, right?
To start,
Just
to start.
Okay.
She could take 5, 10 years to finish if she wanted to.
Okay.
Okay, I just wanted,
Yes,
it's
okay.
gotten
Yeah.
so
There you go.
expensive, all of
Yeah.
the materials have gotten so expensive, I just wanted to double check.
Second motion?
Okay. So we have a motion and we have a second.
Who, second?
That's it.
Okay. All right, so Thomas Stark,
Approved.
Josh Wilbur,
Approved.
Owen McCullough,
Approved.
Sandy Palmer,
Approved.
Carol Ann Rogers,
Approved.
and Mike Pittman.
Approved.
Thank
All right,
you
with
very
that, you'll get your COA.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, that is all for the applications, and now we'll move on to, new and old business. We'll start with old business first, right? Yeah. What's
I
that?
don't think,
You've done such a great job on this.
did y'all want to talk about the,
Wow.
That old business?
Whoever,
Yes, I'll talk
the
about it.
combination, or the broad that it
On one of my many walks through Madison, I came across a application that we approved late last year for the historic ditch there along Mill Street, next Lantier Winery. It looks like it's achieved significant damage from the recent rains we've had. And I guess my concern on this situation is that we basically gave approval based on a quick turnaround for getting the walls put in and the site building done. And I don't think they even applied for a permit yet. So we've got an issue there. I've got a picture of and some of my concerns. You can see where the ditch is actually getting eroded out. It's going down in the mud. So we're losing all the stone there. And unless we put some fire underneath the applicants, we're gonna have a problem. I have a feeling it's gonna be a bigger problem than we have currently.
And this runs, Mike, right along the street and in between where they dug out all the trees?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. They did plant some arborvitae on First Street
Yeah.
in front, but from the discussion we had, and again, I remember right, the water flow really comes down First Street from the west and really fills that whole area up now that it's dug out. There's no trees to disperse the water, there's no area there for the water to be dispersed, so it actually hits that and really causes a lot of water to come
Is this in our purview, or is this something that,
I don't think it's in our purview, it was part of the application.
right,
Part of, I think, the consideration that we made for, because I'd asked to table it to get more information on the project, and based on the comments from the applicant, they were gonna get to it right away, and it would not be an issue. Well, it's turned into an issue, I believe,
yeah.
in my opinion.
Well, that and then all of the open ground all around it, every time, I've noticed that a lot of that, you know, I mean, it's running down into that space.
Yeah, I have a real concern about that, and it's, I deal with that a lot in the county with the waste, with the stormwater.
Yeah.
And that's where, you know, we've gotten hit with a lot of rain this year, but that's not unusual for us to get hit with
Right.
rain. I mean, that's kind of a common theme, and, I think if an applicant says, I'm gonna get to it and get it done, let's get her done.
Well, what do you propose to do to notify them about that, or
Well,
notify someone?
I would like to send a letter stating that they need to be going on. See what we can do from, because I believe if we don't even have the plans yet, have they even started on that? And you can't get a set of plans real quick right now. That's not done. So,
We got a member of the public up.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, point of clarification, the private citizen paid for the First Street Arborvitae planting, not the owner of the property.
Thank you. So, any other comments, because I'm gonna ask our,
thank you, Ken.
our staff here something.
Well, technically speaking, they have a year to begin, and that's it, right?
Correct, and, if we go back through the meeting, to listen to the audio and look at the minutes, the applicant did stipulate that, due to the type of construction with the concrete retaining wall, that it would have to be weather dependent to put that in. So at the November meeting, it was made clear that that would not be done, like within the next, and I'm making this time frame up, it was clear that it would not be like right then because winter, and different things with the freeze thaw cycles in concrete. Because they will have to have hydrostatic pressure elimination back behind, as was discussed in the application. So, but to your point, they do have 1 year to begin, so.
But I think that one of the things we could do, and we may wanna ask legal, our counsel on this, is, you know, the fact that, you know, the drain is eroding faster than probably they would have thought it would. Is there something they can do sooner to help protect that from us losing that drain, or losing more rock, you know, more of the rock from?
Yeah, I'll have to ask legal on what, this board can do as far as that goes. The drain is technically in the city right away, so
Right.
it's a city drain.
It is, but it, you know, by their work, it's causing this issue, so, you know, hopefully they will, you know, stick by their word and try to help preserve that drain. So. Anything else on that? Any other old business?
The city is responsible for the main.
All right, so, we'll go to new business. Anything new?
I just wanted, it's kind of new / old, I wanted to give an update on design guidelines. We are working through that process. Our subcommittee of Tom, Owen, and Mike have reviewed, one draft. They're in the process of reviewing a second draft. I passed out a revised, timetable. We asked for an extension on our grant. The federal government gave the entire state of Indiana the option to extend their grants that were issued in 2020 because they took quite a while to get the approvals out. So we're going to take advantage of that and extend our timeline in order to give the public more time to make public comments as well as the entire board. So with the revised timetable, we're looking at having the first draft to the entire board and the public by May 23rd, so your May meeting, and then we'll start public comments from there. We don't have the draft up yet for public comment, but if anyone would like to see
Any other new business?
I did want to show one thing. So, with Mayor Courtney's new initiative, I say new initiative for this year, Clean, Safe, and Beautiful, the idea came up about to create these postcards. And part of these are also for Historic District. I will pass these to each member. But what this is for is just kind of a say thank you to your neighbor. Thank you for doing a restoration or rehab and doing it within the guidelines. We recognize the fact that you're doing this work. Or it could even be maintenance, tuck pointing. You know, just something you see that one of your fellow residents and neighbors has done to help make Madison clean, safe, and beautiful. So I just thought this was a really nice idea, and I wanted to pass these, like I said, out to the board. If you need more, you can always see me for that.
I mean, the idea is that we, as members of the board, would kind of keep these in our back pocket. We see something that looked like it was done really nicely, and we ourselves would mail it.
You can, or you can send it, give it to me, and I will take care of that. You could even call and tell me, hey, this address, and I will write it out for you if you would like. So
We
there's
just
multiple
drop
ways
in
to
the
do it.
mailbox?
It's however you would like to do that. So, but I just want to pass a few out to the board members.
Thank you. All right, any other new business? All right, you got a staff report?
All right, so the April fast track applications, we had Kim Kidwell Lytle at 314 West Main to remove aluminum awnings, remove a non-wood lap siding, install it over the transoms, and replace that area with glass and original transom or wood. Jill Shaw at 501 West Main Street to install a wooden entablature around the front primary entrance. Historic Madison Foundation, Inc. at 304 West 2nd Street to replace the tin standing seam roof, half-round galvanized gutter, and round galvanized downspout with a new copper standing seam custom-formed roof, copper half-round gutters, and a copper downspout.
That's for Sullivan, right?
Correct. And then April 2021 COA review, Chris and Gina Lynn at 216 or 14. I think they consolidated at this point to that address, but that was the time or the address at the time of application. To add a surround at the front door on the 214 side, and to build a new garage at the rear of the property. That is in progress. 1809 Property Group, Tony Steinhardt at 221 West 1st Street, to rehabilitate the home to the original 1850s exterior. At Al, you can see that it was a large project. I'm sure we've all been keeping our eyes open on that one. And as you can obviously see, that is in progress as well. Then we had Kevin Watkins at 222 West 2nd Street to add a second-story addition, add windows, removing the north brick chimney, the garage, adding a garage, things like that. That is also in progress. Bill and Patty Johnson at 520 West 2nd Street built a 10x10 wood outbuilding and a 10x8 deck in the backyard. That was done. McGillen Holdings at 801 East Main Street to remove the small 24-inch windows on the west side and install overhead doors in the basement level on the north end and middle and serving area. That is the old Victoria Inn, former Victoria Inn, and it is in progress. Ron Frazee at 829 West Main Street to add a capital over the front entry door, and that has been completed. Rodney Pettit at 901 West 1st Street to replace the existing deck with a 28x16 deck, installing two vinyl 9-foot sliding glass doors on the rear. That is in progress. Mike Prickett's property on 919 West 1st to build an addition on the south and west of the home. That is in progress as well. And then Mike Prickett's property at 927 West First Street to add two new transom windows, replace the basement door, replace the main level window with a patio door. That has been completed. And that is all I have.
Any questions about the staff report? All right, hearing none, I will accept a motion to adjourn. Somebody make a motion. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
There we go.
Congratulations. Your first meeting under your belt.
Sorry, I screwed full.
Get early, just fill in